I say that. They did.
Face got a block in it.
Wow.
Oh.
But, are we live?
Cool.
Oh, fine. I was in a daydream. All right then. Shalom. This is the ISUPK under Commanding General Yohana. Since 1969, been teaching the truth according to the Bible that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the real Israelites. You know what I mean? We were saying it before Kanye West, man. You know what I mean? Everyone's saying, yo, look at what he said when there's been people out there from 1969, you know what I mean, saying that with the proof, with the Bible, with the history, with the artifacts, man. So with that being said, for those of you that are new to class, we do have a school in the UK. The address is 394 Lodge Road, postcode B18 5PW. You can search us up and you can get the directions here. You know what I mean? So today is the scripture breakdown class, meaning if there's any questions you would like answered, feel free to type them in. If you're in the class, just raise your hand, say Salakia, and we'll answer it as well, all right? But from this school, we teach classes 3 times a week. So Monday, 7 till 9, you have the history class done by Officer of 5,000, Karafia. Then Wednesday, you got the law class done by Officer of 5,000, Dungabar. And today, you got the scripture breakdown class. Then online, not in the school, you have the Tuesday Brotherhood class and the Friday language class as well. This weekend, we're going to be on the Brixton High Street from 12 till 5. So, you know, if you're in the London area, you want to see the camp, do come by. All right. So with that being said, if you have any questions that you would like answered, feel free to type them in. If not, then we do have a topic to teach in the class. All right. So
yeah, what's the breakdown on it? Christ said I have a new commandment. Like, he said a new commandment, but then read the old one. What was the information on that?
And so, all right, let's read it. I believe that's in John, about John 15. Let's get it. A new commandment. I'll find John 15. All right. It's John 13 and 34.
John 13 and 34.
Yeah, that's it.
It says, a new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another, as I loved you, that ye also love one another. By this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, if you love one to another.
Okay, so the question you're asking me is, it's not new because it's in the law in it that we love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Oh, okay.
It's a question. Well, okay, it's not okay. When it says it is a new, it doesn't literally mean it's new, meaning it's something that we did not keep. It's new. Why? Because we did not do it. And with Christ, remember, he's about to go. He's about to die, be resurrected, sit on the right-hand side of the Most High. And what? His disciples, they have to carry on. So it's not new as in, it is literally new, meaning it's something that we did not keep. Then the next verse explains, if you want to read it again, verse 35.
But this shall all men know that ye are my disciples.
So if you read it again, by this.
By this shall all men know.
So now let's keep in mind, by this meaning what? By loving one another. So meaning there's something we need to do that the world needs to see. Read on.
By this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, if you love one to another.
There you go. So that's the point. Christ is saying, listen, you don't need to love each other. Why? Because everyone's going to see this. And by this, by how you lot love one another, people are going to know you are the men of the Lord, man.
Right.
And let that sink in. So many people think in the truth, it's about breaking down Isaiah, breaking down Revelations. And that's not the case. You know the men of the Lord by how they love each other, man.
Right.
How deep you can break things down. You know the men of the Lord by what? How they deal with each other. And Christ is letting them know, listen, you don't need to love each other so that what? People know who you are, man. People know you are the men of the Lord by what? By how you love one another. We showed you that really that goes over everything else. It doesn't matter how good you can break down Isaiah. You know what I mean? You don't find a man of the Lord by the things he says, but by how they love each other. And in the UPK, we love each other, man.
That's right.
You know what I mean? There's many instances where in some of the camps, people had to fight together, man. Almost die for each other. And what? That shows how much we love one another. And why is Christ saying this? Because even back then, there was sects of Jews, and they were taught love, but really they hated each other, man. Even these fake Israelite groups that you see, they hate each other. They taught, love your neighbor as you love yourself. All of them hate each other, man.
Right.
You can look at all of them on face value. It seems like they love each other, and then one day it comes out, one person who left makes a video. We didn't like him. We were trying to rob him. We was in on this thing. Like, raw. Is that how they're operating? Why? Because they don't love each other. And with Christ, he's letting the disciples know, listen, people are going to look at you, and people are going to know you are the men of the Lord by how you love one another. People are going to see Mark interact with Luke, John interact with him, and Matthew, and go, these men love each other. These men, the Lord is with them by how they deal with each other. And that's and that's the emphasis of it. So it's not a new commandment. It's just saying, listen, do this, man. Do it. Why? Because as a nation, we did not do it. People taught that game of love, love, love. And really, people hate each other. You know what I mean? I was listening to Across the Line when Captain Tzayak, what's that guy he debated recently? Malik Zulu Shabazz. And he said it, he goes, once it was done, his men left him. He goes, all throughout the debate, he was doing his men wrong, man. And then as soon as the debate was done, his men just left him like it's say a business, like, okay, bye now. Meaning what? They don't love each other. Yeah. Right. Even though they're all working for the same goal, really they don't love each other. And those things are seen where these guys, they don't love each other. Was in the UPK, even after the debate, they was hanging around, drinking, laughing, meaning what? These men love each other. Those men don't. And that's how you know who the Lord is with. By how you love your neighbor, man. If you get the point.
Cool.
All right. Got most on Christ. All right. Anything else? All right, ain't no sweat. Let's get 2nd Ezra 3 and 26.
Book of 2nd Ezra chapter 3 and verse 26. And in all things did, even as Adam and all his generations had done. For they also had a wicked heart.
There's so meaning what? We've sinned, man. Like how in the beginning, Adam sinned. And of course, the people that come from him, we've sinned, we've had a wicked heart. You know what I mean? We've gone after our lust, our desires, the things that we want to do. So at this time, in the book of Second Ezra, he's in ancient Babylon, which would be modern day Iraq. And what we was under them for what? The sins that we did, man. And the prophets warned us that, listen, if we don't change, we are going to be under the Babylonians. And we didn't listen. We carried on. We carried on to what? Nebuchadnezzar came, man. And Nebuchadnezzar took our homeland, man. And what? We was exiled to live in Babylon. So now he's saying, listen, man, you know what I mean? We've had this from the time of Adam. This heart, this mind that just, wants to go against the Lord. Read on.
And so they gave us and so thou gavest thy city over into the hands of thine enemies.
And then what? Because of the sins that we did, the Lord gave our city into the hands of our enemies, man. Meaning what? The Babylonians took our homeland, man. You know what I mean? We had to leave and get carried away for the sins that we did. Read on.
Are their deeds then any better that inhabit Babylon?
So now he's saying, but are the Babylonians better than us? Just because we're under them, does that mean the Babylonians are better than us? No, man. So he's asking, like, why us then? Why are we carried away, but the Babylonians are just as bad as us? And that's what so many blacks and Hispanics, we always wonder. So why is it when we do it, we get locked up? Why is it when we offend the Lord, we get the curse, and these other nations don't? Even though they're doing the same things we do, man. Other nations get high too, man. Other nations have gangs, and you know what I mean, they use knives just like we do in our ignorance. But why is it they don't get punished by the Lord like how we do? And that's what Ezra is wondering here. Like, look, like we're under them, but they're doing the things that we do. So why are we under them for doing the same things that they're doing? Read on.
That they should therefore have dominion over Zion.
And listen to what it's saying, man. It's saying, listen, they got dominion over us, even though they commit the same sins we do, man. They're doing the same things we do, and yet they're over us. And that's the problem. You know what I mean? And we always wonder this, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we always wonder, why us? Why is it always us, man? All over the earth, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we go through pain for doing the same things that other nations do. And listen, a man of God fought this thousands of years ago. You know what I mean? If you listen to a lot of reggae music, I mean, like the things from like the S60s and upwards, a lot of those songs, they're saying the same thing, like, why us? You mean, why is it always us? Meanwhile, other nations are doing the exact same thing. Read on.
For when I came thither and had seen impieties without number.
So now that word in impieties, it means sin or wickedness. So meaning when Ezra was in Babylon, he saw the Babylonians doing sins without number. He saw them doing all these things, all these sins, all these atrocities. And guess what? They're getting away with it. Sorry, just going to answer a quick call. I should answer. Round two. All right. So basically, yeah. So you look at that word in apieties, it means wickedness. So meaning, while Ezra was in Babylon, he saw the wickedness that the Babylonians did, and it's like, so why are they ruling over us if they are doing the same things that we did? Read on.
Then my soul saw many evildoers in this 30th year, so that my heart failed me.
So now it's hurting him. Like, why? I'm in this place. I'm seeing them do evil. The Babylonians, they're getting high. They're worshiping idols. They're doing the things that we got carried away for, but they're doing it and it failed him, meaning his mind is like, I don't get it. We get punished for this, but the Babylonians are doing it, and the Babylonians are ruling over us, and it failed Ezra's mind, man. It blew his mind. Like, we sinned, we're under them. They're doing the same sins that we did, and they are ruling over us, man. This nation isn't punished by God. Read on.
For I have seen how thou sufferest them sinning, and hast spared wicked doers.
You see, so now with Ezra, like, you've let them get away with it, but you don't let us get away with it. Meaning it's bothered him, like, these Babylonians, they're sinning, and you've allowed them to do it. Meanwhile, Lord, you don't allow us. Read on.
Salakia, sir.
Go ahead.
Salakia, can you tell me where you're reading from?
2nd Ezra 3 and the 30th verse.
2nd Ezra 3:30 verse 4, sir.
I got you. Read on.
And hast destroyed thy people, and hast preserved thine enemies, and hast not signified it.
There, so again, going into more of the same thing. They sin like how we do, but you've preserved them. You've let them live, but you have destroyed us, man. You've took away our homeland. We're living under the oppression of another empire. And the Lord's saying, not the Lord, when it comes to Ezra, he's saying, yeah, but the Babylonians, they're doing the same sins we're doing, but you've preserved them and you have destroyed us. Read on.
I do not remember how this way may be left. Are they then of Babylon better than they of Sion?
So now Ezra is saying, are the Babylonians better than us? So when we sin and do the things that you don't like, we get punished. Meanwhile, the Babylonians are committing the same sins and they're getting away with it. Ezra is asking the Lord, are the Babylonians better than us? So meaning, are the Babylonians allowed to get away with these things? Read on.
Or is there any other people that thou knoweth thee? Or is there any other people that knoweth thee beside Israel?
So now guess what? Ezra is answering the question that he asked, man. There's a reason why we get punished for the things that we do. There's a reason why other nations can do the exact same thing and they can get away with it for now, man. Why? Because we have a covenant with the Lord, man.
That's right.
We are the chosen people of God. And listen, right. And I want to let this, I want you to understand, you cannot do what a white man does, man.
That's right.
You got a lot of people out there where the white man, he's evading tax. He's doing this. Listen, he's white, man. You're not him. You're going to do it and get locked up, man. Right. Why? Because you're the chosen people of God.
That's right.
You are the people that are in a covenant with the Lord.
Right.
And guess what? Even back then, Ezra was thinking, yeah, but the Babylonians, they're doing what we're doing, but guess what? They're living fine. And then he realized, well, the reason why we're suffering is because we are your people and we know better. Go ahead, bro.
You know, why it's deep? Because it's like, why do people eat pork just as much as black people do? Well, black people are the ones with high blood pressure, heart disease. And then white people are homosexual more than black people are, according to numbers. But black people are number one in AIDS. Like, we think we can do what they do. We look at them like what they do is fine, but we get hit the hardest.
There you go. And like what you said, those things are a sign that we should not do it. Imagine this. We're in England now. And listen, in the UK, eating ham, a bacon, you know what I mean? Or like anything like that, it's a norm. And white people eat bacon for years, man. In the morning, bacon sandwiches, sarnies, that's what they call them. And guess what? They get away with it, man. You know what I mean? They eat that for 30 years straight. A black man eats a sarnie for a year. He's in the doctor. Doctor, I'm not feeling well, man. Yeah, it's the bacon, man. You gotta laugh it. Why? Because you're the chosen people of God, man. He does the wrong and he gets away with it. You did the wrong. You died for it, man. And that's what Ezra realized. Once again, and that's what Ezra realized. Like, hang on, they do what we do, but they get away with it. Why? Because we are in a covenant with the Lord. That's the difference, man. That's what makes a difference. You mean that what? We are not them.
That's right.
And you gotta let that sink in. Mm-hmm. You are not a heathen, man. They're gonna do wrong. And listen, for a time, they're going to get away with it, man. But you being the chosen people of God, don't ever think that you're gonna do what they do, man. Don't think you're gonna get involved in the same things they do, and you are going to have the same ending, man. It's not gonna happen. It's like if someone of them had something online.
Can't. Just to add also to Ezra's answer or his question was basically got the Most High is not a father to all the other nations as well. Just to add to what you're saying, he's only a father to Israel. So, you know, that would be to answer, you know, Ezra's question, really.
Absolutely. But guess what? As we read on, he's going to even explain it more. Read on.
Another one, Khan. Or what generation hath so believed thy covenant as Jacob?
And there, man, only a Jacob has believed in these covenants. Only we believe that what? We are a people that are in a agreement with the Lord, man. That's why it's us. That's why it's like, you know what I mean? That's why he gets it now. It's like, we're under them, even though they did the same sins as us, because we are in a covenant with the Lord, man. You mean, and he was in ancient Babylon. He saw how the Babylonians lived and was like, hang on, but we are under them. And the Lord made it this way because we did the things that they did. Why? Because we are meant to be better than them, man. That's why. You mean we are held to a higher standard than them.
That's right.
That's why when we fall and do what they do, we get the curse, man. Reader.
So, like you, sir, if I could.
Go ahead.
Is it also that, you know, the laws hasn't been given to the Babylonians? The laws only been given to us, so they can't sin then, can they, really, if it's not given to them?
Okay, they can sin. Of course, they are breaking God's laws, but the difference is they didn't hear the voice of God and live like we did, man. They're not in an agreement with the Lord. We are. Right. That's why we get punished when we do those things and they don't.
Right. Cancer. Pardon.
Verse 3. And yet their reward appeareth not, and their labor hath no fruit. For I have gone here and there through the heathen, and I see that they flow in wealth, and think not upon thy commandments.
And listen now, that's the difference, man. All these nations, they sin, and they don't even think about the commandments of God, man. Even in England right now, no one thinks about the laws of God. You got the LGBTQ, You got people eating unlawful meats. And listen, England's rich. The British Empire is a wealthy empire, and they don't think upon the commandments of God. And guess what? Thousands of years ago, a man of God said the same thing. Why are they rich? And they don't even think about your commandments, Lord, man. And now for us, we do. And when we sin, we get punished, man. These nations ain't, they're not following any of your laws, yet they're rich, yet they have an empire, and we don't. Read on.
Khan. Weigh thou therefore our wickedness now in the balance, and theirs also that dwell in the world. And so shall thy name nowhere. And so shall thy name nowhere be found but in Israel.
All right, now listen, I want someone to break that down. What is Ezra saying here?
It's like if I could.
Go ahead.
So he's saying, he knows that Israel have sinned. He knows that we've done wrong. But he's seeing this people and they're ruling over and they're doing even worse than we're doing. They're doing worse of wickedness. So he's saying, where the wickedness that our people have done and where the wickedness that they've done. But there's still, you still find the Lord in Israel. You still find those in Israel that serve the Lord. And that they have some thought to the covenant that our people made with the Most High.
Okay, you are close, but not quite. So you should read that one more time, verse
34.
34.
Khan. Weigh thou therefore our wickedness now in the balance, and theirs also that dwell in the world. And so shall thy name nowhere be found but in Israel.
Salakia, sir. I think I know what he's saying there.
Let's go ahead.
I think he's saying, right, weigh out Israel's wickedness and the Babylonians' wickedness. Like, look at their wickedness, look at our wickedness, right? Balance it out, he's saying. And also everyone else that dwell in the world, and you'll never find the Most High's name nowhere else that keep the laws apart from in Israel. I think that's what he's saying, right?
You're close. Anyone else?
He's saying you wear out the wickedness of us and Babylonians, and the Babylonians are worse.
Hmm?
Like he's saying.
You hear that he's saying?
He's saying you weigh out our wickedness, their wickedness. You can't explain it. Say name of Israel ain't even close. Like he's saying you won't find name of Israel nowhere.
Okay, you close. Okay, I'll break it down. So what he's saying is weigh out the wickedness that they do.
Yeah.
Lay out the wickedness that we do. And we're not as bad as them, but what? We are the chosen people of God. Your name is with us. Even though we're not as bad as them, because we're yours, you expect better. Cool. That's why we get punished, if you understand.
All
right, read that one more time and let it sink in.
Khan. Weigh thou therefore our wickedness now in the balance, and theirs also that dwell in the world. And so shall thy name nowhere be found but in Israel.
And there, so that meaning you weigh up, man. And these nations are evil, man. These nations do a lot of wickedness. And listen, we have done it too. But guess what? The Lord's name is found in Israel, man. That's the determinator. That's why we get punished and they don't, because we are the chosen people of God. We are in an agreement with the Lord. We are held to a higher standard than them. That's why you can't do what they do. You can't be influenced by a white man and be like, well, he did it. Yeah, but you're not him, man. You know what I mean? You're looking at white thieves that got rich. Listen, he's going to get away with it. You're not. You mean, listen, white people sell drugs, man, loads of drugs. And guess what? They own businesses. You know what I mean? They got companies, they got yachts, they're going on holidays every year. You sell drugs for a year, you're getting locked up, man. You know what I mean? You're going to be on the news and they're going to reveal the operation they had, and they was watching you go to your car and they was watching you do this and that. You did what he did, but what? You're the chosen people of God. He isn't. That's the difference. Go ahead.
So the man on the internet recently called Dominic Cummings, the criminal, and he's nice. They said that when it comes, I'm glad like telling the story of his first crime and stuff, and his first this that. I'm watching the scene. I think look how white people can be criminals and spin it around. And even like in Jamaica, you had like Captain Morgan and whatnot that were known pirates that became like the government funded them and put them on the payroll. You know what I mean? When we're criminals, we don't get a second chance. Our life is done with. Like we can't even stack cans at the Tesco by the time we're done. Like they finish with us, but with them they can bounce back from it and be somebody great.
There you go. And the reason is why we are not them, man. There's a video online. There's a guy. He's a professional thief. And listen, he walks in the shop, pops the tags, and just walks out. So he wear like a suit and an expensive suit. So as he walks in the shop, people think he's a manager or he's some exec, like he's someone that runs the shop or works in the shop. And he literally grabs what he likes, takes off the tag, and walks out. And no one says nothing. He'll see something he likes, literally do the tag, put it up, walk out. No one says nothing to him. Can you do that?
From the time, so like you said, from the time we walk into a shop, that's it. Everyone else can thief.
There you go. You know what I mean? You can't even walk in the shop and do it. And listen, you could have the most expensive suit. You ain't getting away, man. You know what I mean? That is his job. He's a professional thief. And it's in England as well. His job is a professional thief. And he does it for a living. Wears his nice suit, just walks in the shop. And the people that work there assume that he's the boss or some manager. And they don't say nothing. He pops all the tags and walks out, takes a flat screen, takes microwaves, whatever he wants, and no one says nothing. He puts it in the boot of his car and just drives away. And that is his job. His job is a professional thief. If you could craft, see if it's on a YouTube, and if you can get his name, and that is his job. And he's rich. Now, guess what? You can't do that. Go ahead, sis.
Is it for an experiment, or he just does it generally?
No, he does it generally. That is his trade. That's what he does, and he's done it for years. And guess what? He even did a documentary, and he's not locked up. And you look at it and go, "Hang on, my friend went to HMV, robbed a CD, man." And you mean he's doing 1 year. This man does it day in and day out, and he's not locked up. And if you don't understand that, he gets away with it because he's a heathen and you're not.
Right.
You know what I mean? Your mind is going to be hurting, man. Your head is going to be hurting you. Go ahead.
I can't find a line. I watched the documentary, and then the man goes how before he goes to work in the morning, he straightens his tie, like in the mirror and shit.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's literally his job. He wears a nice suit, his tie, and just takes what he wants. Online, go ahead.
Yeah, can't so like yeah. Also, just to add to that, and as a really good example is R. Kelly. You know what I mean? There's a lot of, it's wrong either way, but there's a lot of other people that's got away with a lot of the things that he's been accused of or he's been sentenced for, and he's the one that gets like life kind of thing, and the rest of them, they might get a few years and they're out on road or they don't even get caught for it because R. Kelly belongs to the Most High. He's getting punished for it.
There you go. And listen, that's a good example right there, man. I believe in America, what's the guy? Weinstein.
Jeffrey
and it's like Epstein and Prince Andrew. They've been molesting young kids for years. And look, all they say is it's an allegation. You can't prove it. And you know what I mean? They're in and out of court. And of course, guess what? They're not the chosen people of God. Then the man who is of the chosen of the Lord, he did it and he got life, man. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie, I was shocked. R. Kelly got damn near life in prison, man. Mr. Vibe, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? That song Vibe. You know what I mean? That's a classic, man. You know what I mean? See nothing, but you know what I mean? That's and guess what? You know what I mean? And guess what? He's down there doing life. How much is it? Life? Well, down there. You know what I mean? He's not seen outside of a prison cell for a very long time. Let's just end it on that. Why? Because he's the Israelite, man.
Right.
Epstein is a heathen, man. Prince Andrew, he's a heathen. But guess what? You being an Israelite, God holds you to a higher standard where you can do exactly what they do, but you get the punishment, man. Reader.
Another one can't. Or when was it that they which dwell upon the earth have not sinned in thy sight?
And listen, Ezra is saying, when have they on the earth not sinned in thy sight? Meaning what? All these nations sin, man. The Indians, the Chinese, the Mongolians, the Japanese, the Burmese, the Thais, they sin, man. All nations on the earth, they've sinned. You know what I mean? They worship idols and they celebrate pagan holidays. They do things that God told us not to do. Read on.
Another one can't. Or what people have so kept thy commandments?
And saying, listen, these nations sins and they haven't kept none of your commandments. The Chinese don't keep none of the commandments of the Lord, man. England right now doesn't keep none of the commandments of the Lord. None of these nations do it. Reader.
Another one can't. Thou shalt find that Israel by name have kept thy precepts, but not the heathen.
And that's why we get punished and they don't. Why? Because we kept it. We are the people that at one point we kept the precepts of the Lord and then we stopped. And that's why we get punished the way that we do and they don't, man. You know what I mean? In London right now, what's that famous restaurant, people of the Shard? Listen, you can do the research with the a Shard. It was set up by a Turkish gangsters. You can research it. They sold heroin, sold drugs, and listen, they got the Shard. They got this hotel. It's a restaurant and a hotel that everyone loves, and it's no secret how its beginnings came about. And now they have a legal hotel and restaurant. We sell drugs, we get locked up, man. You try to open up a shop, and guess what? The police are shutting down that business, man. You got, you know what I mean, black and Hispanic weed dealers thinking, listen, I'm selling this weed. I'm gonna open up a nightclub. Guess what? That nightclub is getting shut down, man. The police are confiscating every chair, every table, every light bulb you can get from that. And like, you know what I mean? They're taking everything. Meanwhile, the Turks, they got the Shard, man. Selling heroin and hash and all that. And listen, it's not a secret. And they get to now have a legal business where they don't sell drugs anymore. And what's the difference? They're heathens. And we are people that what? We kept the precepts of the Lord. That's the difference. Go ahead.
For the off topic, is it true, yeah, that today this church designed already?
Yes.
Already?
Yeah. Why? Because, okay, with the economy of England and the bills and the rising of a cost of living, it's very rough. And, you know, to handle that, you got to be someone that knows what you're doing. And a lot of people, you know what I mean, they can't handle it, man. You know what I mean? Imagine, you know what I mean, people are going to blame you for the British economy. That's a lot to bear. And, you know what I mean, no one wants to hold it down. So, yeah, you know what I mean, there's people, they sign up to do it. And after a week or two, when they understand how bad it is, they leave because they don't want that on their reputation. You don't want to be the person that collapsed the British economy. So they'll leave it like, listen, I resign. I don't want any a part of it. So yeah, that's what you see, man. And when you see things like that, let it be known that England is on its last legs, man. I mean, let it be a sign that, listen, if you can see these signs, how much more should you obey the Lord, man? How much more should you be coming to camp? How much more should you be doing the work of the Lord when you can see England is falling? You know what I mean? So always let that be a sign, man. Read it.
It's like that's the end of the chapter.
That's in the chapter, all right? Most High in Christ, all right? Let's get Amos 3:1. Oh, also too, has anyone got a breakdown for camp? Anything you need elaborated on, or you know, anything broken down?
Cool, concept. I was gonna go in on the topic of Kanye and his whole White Lives Matter t-shirt and how you know, he shows more love to the enemy rather than his own people. And you know, in the Bible, it don't say, you know, white lives matter, man. He should, what he should be wearing is a shirt that says the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
That's right.
With that Preston, man.
I got So okay, you want some precepts to go along with it, or what have you got so far, or you need anything extra? Go ahead.
I have Zechariah 11 and verse 4. 5.
Okay. There's one in Maccabees, if you want that too.
I could.
All right. In Maccabees, I'm just paraphrasing it. It goes, "Let us make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us." Let's grab that one as well in Maccabees.
Zechariah 11 and 4.
Yeah.
Zechariah 11 and 4. Thus says the Lord my God, feed the flock of the slaughter.
So now, who is the flock of the Lord? Blacks and Hispanics. We are the flock of the Lord, and what we get slaughtered all the time, man. And you know what's heavy? You want to break this down. As rough as we seem, we are sheep, man. As aggressive as the world may look at us, the sad thing is, really, blacks and Hispanics, we are sheep. We are people that are easily led, which is why the Lord calls us lost sheep. Why? Because we are easily led, man. There's black people in the mosque. Why? Because we are easily led, man. We're locked. Someone talks about Muhammad and, you know, this and that, and you're like, really? Okay, cool, man. We're in the church. Why? Because we're sheep. We're easily led, man. We believe in New World Orders and Illuminati. Why? Because we are a people that are sheep. We are easily led. And now, as men of the Lord, we feed the flock, man. Why? Because we are sheep that are easily led, if I'm making sense.
Okay.
Read on.
God, who's possessed and slay them.
So now, with this flock, who are blacks and Hispanics, those that possess us, they slay us. You can use many examples: Mark Duggan, Jermaine Baker, Rashawn Charles, and break down what happened to them. They were slayed, man. Mark Duggan had no gun, and an armed officer shot him, and then had the nerve to say he would do it again.
Right.
And there was no gun. So why are you shooting at an unarmed man? You are an armed officer that has a firearm in your hand, man. Do you know what that means? What is in your hand can take life instantly.
Right.
You got to think about that, man. Before you shoot someone, you got to go, listen, what is in my hands can be the determinator between someone living and someone dying, man. And he slayed that man that had no gun. And had the nerve to go, well, he'll do it again. You know what I mean? Use those examples. Use Rashawn Charles, man. It was in a corner shop, and the police officer believed he swallowed some drugs and put him on his back and put his fingers down his throat till what? He suffocated on his vomit, man. And guess what? He just says, well, I'm doing my job. I believed this man ran into a corner shop, swallowed drugs, and I'm trying to get the drugs out of him. And do you know how dumb that sounds? If you digest drugs, you ain't getting them out, man.
Right.
You mean if there's obviously it's not, if there's drugs in my gut, listen, you can put your fingers down my throat, it's not coming out. What logic was you even using? What they usually do, they make you go, so they lock you up and they make you, you know what I mean, get it out the natural way. Right. That's how to do it. Even they know, listen, putting your fingers down his throat is not gonna get the drugs out of his mouth. But he does it, and what? He gets away, man. You had what's the guy? David Atkinson in Nottingham. A policeman tasered him, and he had heart problems, and he died. And guess what? They're always innocent. They're always, listen, I'm just doing my job. I was afraid for my life. There was this black guy, and I was afraid, man. He was aggressive. They love to say that he was aggressive. So, you know, I had to do what I had to do. A read on in Zechariah. It's like if someone online can just pick up on it.
Can't say. What verse? What verse was it, sir?
11 and what, sorry?
11 and 5, 4 to 5.
All right, yeah. And read again Zechariah 11:4.
Hold on, count. Zechariah 11, verse 4. Thus saith the Lord my God, feed the flock of the slaughter.
Okay, and now for a Kanye West, you want to break this down. He's part of the flock as well, man. Kanye
Right.
West is a sheep. Now, of course, I'm not saying it gives him a pass, but guess what? He's a sheep, man. He's around those rich white people, and what he cares for them more than his own people.
Right.
Meanwhile, I don't know if you know this. Kanye West comes from Illinois, man, in Chicago. That is a rough black area.
Mm.
And listen, he's seen black people suffer and has the nerve to put on a shirt that says "White Lives Matter."
Right.
When guess what? The place where you come from, you know that Black Lives Matter, man. You see every day, man. Chicago is rough. In America, Chicago has the highest murder rate. Do the research, man. People in Chicago die like, you know what I mean? Like it's nothing.
Right.
I mean, in Chicago, you can research it. In Chicago, the gun crime is so bad. 2 gangs had a gunfight, and the gunfight was that bad, the police couldn't even do nothing. Armed police, they couldn't even interject and stop the gunfight that was happening. They had to call it a combat, meaning they had to go, listen, who shot who? Just let that be that. They couldn't even do nothing. You know what I mean? Now, for those that don't know, in America, there's a law term called a combat, and it means it's a fight. It's a fight between one man and another. No one gets locked up. No one gets a charge. It was just something that happened in Chicago. The gun crime is that bad. The police, they can't even stop it. And guess what? They call it a combat because the gunfights are that bad. The weapons they have are that bad. A police officer is not going to get involved. The guns that a police officer has and what they have, a policeman like, listen, I'm not getting involved in that. He's got an AK, I've got a handgun. You know what I mean? What can I do against this man? His gun is better than mine, and they call it a combat and go, listen, he shot him. It was a mutual gunfight. I'm not getting involved. That's how bad Chicago is. So listen, Kanye West knows Black Lives Matter, but what? He's a sheep. He's an idiot, man. A reader.
So like you said, feed the flock of my slaughter. I think I may have missed your breakdown on that part there. Could you tell me again?
Okay, so who is the flock of the Lord? We are, man. Israelites. We are the flock of the Lord. We are the sheep of the Lord. And
Right.
why is it called a sheep? Because we are people that need to be led. And guess what? We need to be led by the Lord. And what's happened is we've been misled by what? Poor black leaders, man. By people that lead us just to get rich. And listen, Kanye West, along with being a sheep, he's a poor leader, man. Which I don't know why anyone would even listen to him anyway, man. You know what I mean? Kanye West needs help. Have you seen those shoes that he's wearing, those big boots?
Right.
You're gonna follow a man that wears that. What are they called? They're called Yeezys.
The big ones.
No, the big ones.
Like clown shoes.
Yeah, the big boots. I'm not sure what they're called. Listen, man, why would you even follow someone wearing those? You're gonna let someone lead you that's wearing shit like that. I don't know about you, but I'm not doing that, man. Even that is a cry for help. Like, listen, that person ain't leading me. And he's a poor leader to say White Lives Matter for those that would even follow him anyway. Go ahead.
I thought white lives has never been in dispute. Like, everyone knows white lives matter. White people ain't getting killed by the police. No one has to question if white lives matter. When you wake up in the morning, white people are thriving and rolling and going to the moon and back. No one has to debate that. Black people have to debate if black lives really matter. We're the ones getting killed. He's taking the others. White lives clearly matter in America. That's why they're doing so good. So then he's taking the others, to be honest.
There you go. No, you know what I mean? Like what the officer said, you know what I mean? No need to even add on to that. That speaks for itself. And where Kanye West is from, there's the black part where there's gunfights every day. And in Chicago, there's rich white parts. And they live good. They don't know about all the killings every day. So
Right.
saying White Lives Matter, that's ridiculous. When you come from an area where it's clear that Black Lives Matter, man. Where what people get into a gunfight and the police call it a mutual combat, saying, well, he killed him, it was a fair gunfight. That don't make sense, man. But they have to do that because the police don't want to get involved. You know what I mean? All right. So a read on in Zechariah.
Karawan Kanta, but Salakid, sorry, but just one other thing here. Like, it says, feed the flock of my slaughter, feed the flock of my slaughter, feed
Okay.
the flock.
I got you. So now we feed them. The ISUPK, we feed them. The flock of the slaughter is the law, but what is our job to feed them? Meaning what? They're not being fed. By following Kanye West, we're not being fed, man. By
Right.
being in the we're not being fed.
Right.
We are people that what? We're lacking. We're lean. Why? Because our leaders ain't feeding us with the truth.
Right. Okay. I understand now.
All right.
Kanta, Wada.
A reader.
Karawan Khan, whose possessors slay them.
So now our possessors slay us. Who's that man? Our oppressor. You know, to make it understandable, the so-called white man. He slays us. And read the next part.
Karawan Khan, and hold themselves not guilty.
And guess what? They say, I'm not a guilty man. It's not my fault. He was aggressive. He's one of those angry black guys. I'm defending myself. Mark Duggan seemed like he had the gun, man. I saw him like he was about to pull for something, which is a lie. And guess what? They're not guilty. They get away with it, man. While they slay us, they're like, well, listen, I'm a police officer. I was doing my job. I was threatened for my life, man. I thought Mark Duggan had a gun. I thought Rashawn Charles, he swallowed those drugs, man. I'm trying to help him in London. He was selling drugs. If I lock him up, I'm helping everyone. Go ahead.
Even white people in general say, well, slavery wasn't my fault. Like, they don't benefit from slavery. That's also a question. They don't benefit from slavery and everything. And so all that, it's not my fault. I didn't have any chains. I ain't the reason why black people are, the way they are. After they've been spending and living life of what you built.
There you go. So meaning they don't hold any accountability. Like, well, yes, but no, it's not my fault. That was in the past. Meaning what they've done to us. They think they're innocent. Like, listen, that's not my fault. I got nothing to do with that. That guy was a drug dealer, so he had it coming anyway. Like, you know what I mean? They say so many things to what? Be innocent. But now read the next part.
Karawan Khan, and they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich.
And what's it breaking down? In the 1600s, we were sold. And guess what? Our oppressor thought God was with him, man. Blessed be the Lord. I am rich, man. In America, that song, Amazing Grace. Does anyone know the origins of that song and what it's really about?
Karawan Khan, sir.
Go ahead.
A slave master was carrying some of the Israelites on the ship. Something like that. I can't remember the rest. It just left me, But I know a slave master was carrying the people them on the ship, and he was saying amazing grace for having the slaves or something like that on those lines.
Okay, you're close. So basically, a slave master, he had a ship, and there was slaves on the ship. I believe the ship almost sank, and he made it onto shore. And the song "Amazing Grace," that's where it comes from. Meaning you don't care about the slaves on the ship. You care about making it safe on the shore, and you believe God is with you. The slaves are irrelevant. Amazing grace. I'm saved, man. I made it. Those that sell us say, blessed be the Lord. They think God is with them. They're innocent. And listen, God's with them, man. Read on.
Karawan Khan. Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not.
And this is the other part you want. And their own shepherds pity them not. Meaning what? Black leaders don't care about
Right.
us, man.
Right.
Black leaders join the white man and what? They blame
Right.
us, man.
Right.
Imagine this. Kanye West, of course, he's been around for years, but what was the first album he had? A Dropout. In that album, he was talking about what needed to be said, man, about the oppression of blacks and Hispanics, us suffering. And now that what he's got up there with the white man, he pities us not. Now it's our fault, man. Now it's, listen, man, black people just gotta get jobs, man. Listen, if I did it, so can you, man.
Yeah.
If I did it, there's no excuse, man. Meaning what? The leaders we have, once they get with the oppressor, they pity us not. They're like, it's your fault. You know what I mean? You need to enroll in a university. If I did it, so can you do it. Stop moaning.
Yeah.
And that's what our shepherds do. And even him wearing a White Lives Matter shirt means what? He pities us not, man. He doesn't care. He's like, well, listen, I'm with them. It's not just Black Lives that matter. White Lives Matter. He's a shepherd that what? Pities us not. Why? Because he's with the oppressor. So you can use it like that.
Come.
You know what I mean? So you can use it like that. Let's get the one in Maccabees.
I believe it's 1 verse 11, sir.
All right, let's get that. I believe it's first Maccabees 1 and 11. Second Maccabees. All right, let's grab that. First Maccabees 1 and 11.
First Maccabees 1 verse 11. In those days when they're out of Israel, wicked men.
So now you want to break that down. You want to break down what Kanye West is doing. You know what I mean? You want to let people know that the Bible is a living book, man. The Bible it's not no mystical book. That what happens now happened back then, and you want to break down thousands of years ago in the time of the Maccabees under the Greek Empire. Men did exactly what Kanye West did, and you want to break it down. So even at this time, there was wicked men just like Kanye West, and let's find out what they did, man. Read on.
Khan, who persuaded many, saying, "Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about."
They persuaded many. Let us go and be like the oppressor, man. Let us go and join them. Let us go and be a part of their empire. And that's what Kanye West is doing, man. You know what I mean? Obviously it started with Kanye West, but I believe that rapper Mos Def, he was wearing a White Lives Matter shirt. Meaning what? Kanye West is persuading many, man. Saying what? Let us go and join America. Let us go and join the British Empire. You mean let's leave us. You mean we're a people always oppressed, always sad. If we join the heathen, maybe our lives might be happier, man. You mean, and break it down, go, listen, what Kanye West is doing now, thousands of years ago, in the time of the Maccabees under the Greek Empire. You know what I mean? This is about 300 BC. I mean, you can find the exact dates. There was wicked men. So I guess there was wicked men. They did these things, man, just like Kanye West. Made us join the heathen. Made us forget about the people that we should love. And instead, join people that don't care about us, man. Right. Join people that will devour us. Read on.
Khan. Well, since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
And guess what? That's what it comes down to, man. They want to live like the heathen. Right. Wearing the Black Lives Matter shirt, you separate from the white man. You're like, listen, I'm black and my life matters. And you want the benefits that the heathens got, man. Right. You don't want to stand up, because this is what a lot of people don't understand. To be a slave, it's easier. Why? Because you get fed by the white man. You get looked after him, while as to rise up and go against him, you gotta survive, man. You gotta provide. While as to be a slave, it's easy. It's, you know what I mean? It's easy to serve the white man and get fed. It's easy to serve the white man and just work his job. it's easy to be with the white man's a woman and just make him happy. Life is easy like that, but to fight is harder. And that's what Kanye West, that's the issue that he has. He's weak. He doesn't want to fight like we do in the ISUPK. He wants to say the Jews are black, but he doesn't want to fight the fight that you fight at camp, man. He doesn't want to fight that you fight in class. He doesn't want to fight the fight that you have in the councils, man.
Right.
But he wants to say the Jews are black, but he doesn't want to fight, man. Why? Because he misses being with the heathens, man. He misses that fun and the comfortability that the heathens provide. Let's hold this. I'll give you another example. Let's get Numbers 11. So now, this is the Egyptians. This is when we left ancient Egypt. And let's see what was said, man. I know it's Numbers 11. Yeah. 1 second. It might be Numbers 11 or. 1 second.
I believe it's
Yes, Numbers 11.
no.
All right. And when we can start from verse 1. Numbers 11 and 1.
Numbers 11 verse 1. And when the people complained, it displeased the Lord.
So meaning what? We was in the wilderness, and because of the sins that we did, for 40 years, we had to walk around till that generation died. And the Lord was displeased with us, meaning the Lord wasn't happy with us. And it's going to explain why. Read on.
Kadawan Khan. And the Lord heard it, and his anger was kindled. And
all right. No, so I'll break it down. So meaning there's something we said, and the Lord heard what was said, and a fire was kindled, meaning what? The Lord was pissed off with us, in the nice way of saying it. Read on.
Kadawan Khan. And his anger was kindled, and the fire of the Lord burnt among them, and consumed them that were in the uttermost parts of the camp.
So meaning the Lord, he killed many of us in his anger. So now, of course, as we read on, it's going to explain what happened, what led to so many of us being killed in the wilderness. Read on.
Kadawan Khan, sir. Verse 2. And the people cried unto Moses. And when Moses prayed unto the Lord, the fire was quenched. And he called the name of the place Taberah. Because the fire of the Lord burnt among them.
There, so of course, in that place, he named it Taberah. And if you look it up, it's got something to do with burnt. And it says, because the fire of the Lord burned among them. So, it called it by that name for that incident that happened there. Read on.
Kadawan Khan. And the mixed multitude that was among them fell lusting. And the children of Israel also wept again and said, who shall give flesh to eat? Give
there
us flesh to eat.
I'll break it down. So meaning what? We left Egypt, and what now? We was a nation that was independent. We had to provide food for ourselves. And guess what? The people started to miss Egypt. We need to eat, man. I need flesh to eat. Why? Because being a slave, you get looked after. All they had to do was just work for the Egyptians, build this building, build that building. And what? The Egyptians looked after you. And now in the wilderness, we need flesh, man. Gosh, In Egypt, I was looked after. In England, I had Tesco and Aldi, man. I'm in the wilderness having to find food for myself when all I did, I worked my job and listen, man, I walked to Lidl, man. I brought you know what I mean? I brought all these chocolates for £1, man. Now I'm in the wilderness having to provide for myself. Read on.
Kadawan Khan.
I thought my hands up. Yeah, read on, Slacky.
Salakia, sir. You know when it said he is fell lusting after what, food, or lusting after woman? Oh
no, it's the food, and I'll explain. So, of course, it's not in this chapter here, but we was fed from a manna, meaning it was food that the Lord gave us. But what happened? We fell lusting for the food that we got in Egypt. So we was fed, but because we wasn't eating the food what we wanted, what happened? We started lusting in Egypt. I got this, man. In Egypt. But listen, you're free, man. You know what I mean? Forget about what you used to eat in like the Egyptian land. Think about the freedom, but what they fell lusting. You know what I mean? In the UK, you know what I mean? There was addictives and eating manna. For £1, I got wings and fries, man. I got the chili sauce and the mayonnaise, man. Now I'm eating manna from heaven every day. Listen, man, I had the dunner meat and chips with the the salt and vinegar, and you know what I mean. But listen, you're free, man. See the bigger picture, but they couldn't. Why? Because when you I mean, obviously, I'm saying you, but I'm saying that just hypothetical. But when you're a slave, you get looked after. All you gotta do is what? Just work for the master. Meanwhile, here they're free, but what? They're starting to lust after Egypt again. What the Egyptians provided for them for the slavery that they did. Read on.
Kadawan Khan, sir. Salakia, sir. Also, if I could, sir. So that's what displeased the Most High, right?
Yes, that's what displeased him.
Khan. All right.
Go ahead.
It's a thing like you're free, you're eating food in a place where food don't grow, but you're worried about all the delicious shit you had in slavery. Like basically, that make you free. You're under nobody, but you'd rather be back there because you get the nice chicken burgers and stuff, and just basically you think it's more.
That's right. You're thinking about the luxury of the oppression, but you're free. That's the bigger picture. Remember this: no nation wants to be under another nation. Every nation wants to be independent, but we are the only people that we miss the oppression. Like, nah, but when I was under them, I got looked after, man. You know what I mean? I had these luxuries. I got the donut burger, man. You know what I mean? I'm in the wilderness. I'm free, but I'm eating manna. And one second, and you let that override the freedom that you received. And now the reason why I'm going here, because in the book of First Maccabees, what did they say? Since we left them, it's what's the exact words? It's been like miserable since we've left them. I'm just paraphrasing it all. So basically, being independent from the Greeks, life isn't fun, man. We don't get these luxuries, and it happened even when we left Egypt. The same thing. So you can use this as an example in Numbers 11. Hakian?
Kadawan Khan. Salakia, sir. So basically, what you're saying here, and the Bible's saying here, is niggas only care about their belly, food, right? That's what it looks like.
We are reading it right here. You know what I mean? One second. Look at the bigger picture. You're free. The Egyptians ain't whipping you no more. The Egyptians ain't oppressing you anymore. I know what we could think about was the food that the Egyptians provided us, man. That is sad. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? When you think about it, that is sad. You're free. We are free, but all we can think about is what the Egyptians provided us. Listen, man. Be free and eat manna forever, man.
Right.
No, listen, I'm free, but instead, nah, man. You know what I mean? But listen, man. The meat of Egypt, the meat that the Egyptians gave us, nah, man. You know what I mean? And you let that override freedom, which is the point. So absolutely, we cared about our bellies more than the freedom at that time.
And Salaki said, if I could, right? If I could, and if you can see it of today as well, black people only care about nyamming food, right? Playing PlayStation and sleeping with hoes. That's all they care about.
Well, okay.
More than
Okay.
the Lord of God.
1 second. Now, what you don't want to do, you don't want to become like a Kanye West. And I'll explain. Yes, some of us do those things, but what? It's because of the oppression that we're in. Remember, when we are oppressed, what do you want to do? You want to try and be happy. And the sad thing is, sometimes we look at some of the wrong things for happiness. Why? Because we are oppressed. A happy man doesn't take drugs. A man that is comfortable in himself, he has no need to take drugs. We take it. Why? Because we're oppressed. And you know what I mean? We believe being high for that hour is going to relieve us. It's going to mentally do something.
Okay.
And it doesn't. So always keep in mind, it's the oppression. Always keep in mind, blame the white man. It's the oppression. It's not just what he likes. Because of the oppression that we are in, we believe that's where happiness lies, in just pleasing ourselves, where that is not the case. Real happiness is in serving the Lord, man.
That's right.
You know what I mean? That's where real happiness lies. Not in what can satisfy you for an hour or two. You know what I mean? That's what you want to say, all right?
Come on.
All right. Let's read on in Numbers.
And the children of Israel also wept again and said, who shall give us flesh to eat? Verse 5. We remember the fish which we did eat in Egypt freely, and cucumbers. God damn. I've never heard this before in my life. So
Never. Listen, man. You're only gonna learn in the UPK, man.
That's right.
And as well, I'm not trying to divert. You can research it. The ancient Egyptians, they did not eat meat. So that shows that this verse here is true. So all what was given to them, what the Egyptians gave unto them, Egyptians did not eat meat. And even until this day, people that believe in Pan-Africanism or Egypt etology, they don't eat meat. Why? Because ancient Egyptians did not eat meat. And that's why, if you notice, the fish, a watermelon and things like that, because Egyptians did not eat meat as well. You know what I mean? You want to note that down too as well. But read on.
Come on, concert. It's a luck here. And leeks and the onions and the garlic. It's like, yeah. And the garlic.
So meaning, imagine this: we are free. The Egyptians. You mean if you read in the book of Exodus, we was told you're gonna see the Egyptians no more. Do you know how liberating that is? Meaning, these people that are oppressing you, you're gonna see them no more. And in the wilderness, we're like, I miss Egypt, man. I was given the watermelon, the cucumber, the fish with the onions, man. The fish with the vinegar, onions, brethren. I'm in the wilderness eating manna. And you wanted to go back to Egypt over fish with onions, man. Go ahead, sis.
What was manna? What was it?
It was like a bread or like a wheat, like a maize, like a corn kind of bread. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? Of course, is it the nicest thing? No. But guess what? You're free. Think about that. And what happened? While being fed with the manna for so long, people got a carnal land in Egypt. I miss that watermelon, man. The Egyptians used to give us enough of that, man. I used to work hard, and the Egyptian master gave me watermelons, man. We used to make watermelon, this, fish, this with the onions, and the freedom didn't mean nothing. Why? Because being independent comes with responsibility. Being a slave, you don't have to worry about anything. You know what I mean? The slave master is going to look after you from as long as you work for him, which is a difference. And that's what Kanye West is doing. He's got to do White Lives Matter. Why? Because he wants to be looked after. And the more he impresses them, life becomes easier. You know what I mean? And you want to break down that too. Read that.
And
1 second. Just read verse 6 first, then I'll break it down.
Come on. but now our soul is dried away.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there is nothing at all besides this manna before our eyes.
And imagine that. Okay, okay. Is it the nicest thing? No. But are you getting fed? Yes.
Right.
You're getting looked after and you're free. And what we wanted to go back to the slave master of that time, man. And guess what? That's Kanye West, man.
That's
Right.
right.
Remember, listen, that's him. He wants to talk about the Jews are black, but he doesn't want to leave the slave master, man. If the Jews are black, do what the Jews did, man, and leave Egypt, man.
That's right.
You want to be like, you know what I mean? If you want to say that the Jews are black, leave America, man. I want to say leave America, mean leave the ways of America.
Right.
But that's the problem. You don't want to do it, man. You are these people in numbers. You know what I mean? That's an angle you can take.
And
You know
so
what I
like
mean?
I said, if I could.
Go ahead.
And you know, he'll say that the blacks are the Jews, but the Bible says the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. So he knows that this white man has covered the face of the Jews. He knows that he's hidden who the real Jews are, but he won't speak out against that white man.
There you go.
He
And
won't speak out against his oppressor. Slack here.
no, ain't no sweat. And there you go. And you know what I mean? In camp, you want to definitely bring that out too. If you know that the Jews are black and you've been watching the ISU PK, then what about the rest of it, man?
Right.
You know what I mean? And you notice that, guess what? He can't do your job. And also let everyone understand that. Listen, man, yes, Kanye West said that the real Jews are black. But listen, when it comes to getting info off him, that's as far as you're going to go, man.
Right.
If you want the rest, come to the ISU.
Can't. That's right.
If you're tired of Kanye West, all in the videos, talking about the Jews are black, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Then guess what? You need to come to the UPK, man.
That's right.
The video where Kanye West, like, I watched the video again. It showed me how devils are different from black people. Like, black people respect you because you have money, and devils don't. Like, Kanye was trying to educate Piers Morgan or something. And Piers Morgan was schooling him, and he goes, "Well, Piers, how much do you make?" And Piers like basically say, "I make more money, so you should see me." And Piers like, "Listen, I'll take your financial advice, but I'm not going to take your advice." And he showed how white people enslave like black people. We don't see anyone with money and take their advice. So Piers saying, "Fair enough, you're financially rich, and you got financial, but I take that. But I'm going to live my life according to how you, because you what you say because you're rich." And it showed me how white people think different from black people. Don't listen to a man who's not money.
Yeah, and like West is heavy. I didn't watch all of it, but it's true. He doesn't care how rich Kanye West is. If he doesn't believe he's right, he's going to oppose him. While as for us, our mentality is if you're rich, then we should listen to you, and you should not listen to Kanye West, man. So you know what I mean, Alban, you want to, you know what I mean? Obviously, it is optional. I'm not saying you must read it, but you can use Numbers 11 as an example and to show that, listen, he's a slave. And anyone who has the power, he's following them. You can use Isaiah 30:1 as well. We can get that.
Come on, Council.
Then,
If I could, there's another scripture I want to bring out on this topic linking with Numbers.
Okay.
It's Jeremiah 2 and verse 11 to 14.
I got you.
A breakdown on part of it.
Okay, then. Let's grab that. Jeremiah 2 and 11.
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 2 and verse 11. Has the nation changed their gods, which are yet no gods?
Okay, so you want a breakdown on this?
It's verse 13 that I need a breakdown on, but it kind of leads into it.
Okay, I got you. Ain't no sweat. All right then. Read that verse 11.
How the nation changed their gods, which are yet no gods.
So what does it mean by yet are no gods? Meaning their gods are not real, man. Right. Imagine this. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we have the real God. We got the living God. And listen, we leave our God. And the nations, their gods ain't even real. Right. And they don't leave them. Which the point of this same meaning look like, you mean their gods are no gods? and they stay with their God. We got a God that makes it rain. You mean he provides for us, looks after us. He destroys our enemies, and we left him. And there's nations they're serving rocks. In Mecca, they're serving a rock.
That's right.
Around that black tent, it's just a rock. And listen, they're not leaving that rock. That is no God. And we left our God. That's ridiculous. The God that's alive, it makes sense if you don't leave him. It would make sense that their God that's not real, they leave that. But instead, the opposite happened, where the people that have the real God left that God to follow a no God. Reader.
Khan. But my people have changed their glory for that which doth not profit.
So what doesn't a profit us? Leaving our God for no God. What benefit is that? You left the living God to follow an idol that can't help you, can't do nothing for you, can't protect you, can't guide you, can't do anything. Reader.
Khan, slacky, sir, if I could.
Yep.
You also, break it down how our people have left our God and left having brotherhood to it doesn't benefit them, it doesn't benefit their spirit. It might benefit their flesh, they might be able to get some money from the oppressor or, feel better about themselves, but it doesn't benefit their spirit to reject their God and join the nation like Kanye does. He's rejecting people. He dwells among white people. With his whole relationship. He rejected the Most High, rejected his people for something that doesn't benefit him.
There you go. Yeah, you can definitely use it like that as well, where it doesn't benefit you. And off the back of that, it's like in the mosque. In the mosque, you're in there with East Indians, Arabs, and it doesn't profit you. The Arabs and the Indians, they're rich. They got businesses. You're following Islam and you're poor with no job. Meanwhile, they have jobs. They have vacancies. What a profit is that for you? You've left your God to go and join another race of people, and they're not helping you anyway. They're not doing nothing that's helping you.
So, like you said,
good.
Maybe they like their food.
I doubt that.
And their onions and pepper and leeks and shit.
Well, they might do. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But I'm not Arab food. I know that much anyway. But I can only talk for myself anyway. But is what it is. But yeah, basically, it doesn't benefit us for leaving our God, which is the point. Reader.
Khan, verse 12. Be astonished, O ye heavens, at this, and be horribly afraid. Be ye very desolate, saith the Lord.
So the Lord saying, be astonished, be amazed. Imagine this: you leave a living God to serve an idol, meaning be shocked at this. And he says, be ye very desolate, meaning what? The Lord's gonna wipe us out. Meaning, for this, I'm gonna destroy you. This is ridiculous. What you're doing, this is what we deserve. Reader.
So it's like you, sir. Where it says, be ye astonished, O ye heavens, at this, is that referring to Israel? Is that referring to the Most High and the angels? They're astonished at what our people are doing?
No, okay. The precept for this is in Deuteronomy, where it says, I call them heaven and earth to witness against you. The point being is, everyone is watching. That's the point. So meaning, okay, all the nations round about us, whether they're on top or low, is saying, listen, be witness to this. These people are going to be desolate. That's the point, basically. Meaning what? People are witness to this, that what, these people left their God to go and follow idols, which is the point, if I'm making sense.
Can't say so. The heavens is it's like the whole world, like heaven and earth.
Basically, yes. Just meaning everyone watch this. These people are gonna be desolate for what they've done, which is the point.
Can't say. And when it says and be ye horribly afraid, is that talking to Israel now that they're going to become desolate, or is it still saying to the heavens, like to the world, be ye afraid, for, like be like watch what's going to happen to this people?
So okay, he's saying to them, be afraid, but why? Be afraid for what the Lord's gonna do to us. Meaning, listen, man, what I'm gonna do to these people, these nations better be afraid of me.
Right.
For what I'm gonna put on them, you nations better watch yourself, man. Because listen, I'm gonna give them some hurting, which point.
So like you said,
good.
And also like that's why is it 2/3 of our people are gonna be wiped out and destroyed because of this wickedness they're doing. This is the why the 2/3 has got to go, right?
Well, okay, it's for sin, but of course, what I would say, the Lord can change his mind. That is in the Bible. So even though in Zechariah it does talk about a 2/3 dying, you read about in the book of Jonah as well. But listen, if you provoke the Lord enough, you can change his mind. So yes, but I don't think that way. I think of what can we do to make the Lord change his mind, man. Right. Maybe we can rock the UK so much to go, you know what? I'm gonna make more people live. That's how you want to look at it. You don't want to look at it, who's dying and 2/3 want to listen. I want to try my best to make the Lord change his mind. That's more the avenue you want to take it down.
Okay, right. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Read on back the 13th.
Verse 13. For my people have committed two evils.
Oh, sorry, 1 second. What's that says? We're at Jeremiah 2 and the 13th verse now. I'll start it out, but if you read that one more time.
For my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters. Okay, so this is the first evil that we've done. We forsook the Lord. So you want to know what the fountain of living waters are? I'm assuming. It's the second. So the fountain of living waters. That's the word in it. That's the Bible.
That's right. Yes.
This word is spirit. It's life.
I got you. That's right. All right. So you got that part. The first part. All right. Then let's read the second part.
And hewed them out cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water.
Okay, so have you looked at the word cisterns by any chance?
It's like a silver vessel, like a reservoir.
Okay.
Store water.
So okay, the easiest way is like a jug or like a pot. So meaning we've left the Lord, who's the fountain of water. Imagine a source where water comes from abundantly, and you left all that water just to have a jug of water that can't even hold any water. Right. Now you get the point. Meaning you left all this just to have a jug of water that really can't even hold any water. There's like a hole in it, and the waters are coming out. Meaning you left all of this for this. That's the point, basically. You left the Lord, the fountain of water, just to have a jug of water that has a hole in the bottom. Meaning that jug you got can't even hold water anyway, which is the point. Remember, so we left the Lord for gods that are no gods. Now we left the fountain of water for a cistern of water that can't hold no water. That's the point, basically. Meaning you left me for nothing. You left all of this for a cup of water. Then guess what? Can't even hold any water.
Right.
Meaning you left me for nothing. That's the point, if you understand.
Come on, so Salaki, where it says because where I was getting confused, it says and hewed them out cisterns. Is that saying that the fountain of living water? It's like you're taking out that water in cisterns that are broken. So in cisterns that the water's gonna leak out.
Okay, so I got it in the sweat. Jeremiah 2 and 13. So okay, so now we hewed them out, meaning we did it. So I'll explain. In anything we are in, we think we are following God. Right. We think, well, I'm gonna join this. So we cut it out. We're like, listen, I'm gonna join this. this is the way. So meaning we hewed it out. You have the fountain of water, but you think God is over there. You cut you up, you know what I mean, as something, thinking you're following God, and you're not. The fountain's over here, and you took a piece of that and you brought it somewhere else in this jug that can't hold any water anyway.
Right.
The system in the middle would usually.
Oh no, it's a clay, like a clay jug. Also, but the point is, from the fountain of water, you take a piece of that and you try to mold it with this a jug you got that can't hold no water.
Right.
When guess what? Why do that if you can just go to the fountain of water, man? You know what I mean? Why do that if you can go to the source, which is the point?
So, like you said,
Good.
So did they come out of slavery then? Was this after Egypt?
Yes, in the book of Jeremiah, this is after Egypt.
After
so
Egypt, right.
I'll break it down for you. So when you read the book of Jeremiah, he's warning us about the Babylonian Empire. He's saying, listen, if you don't stop, the Babylonians are gonna take us. So when you read Jeremiah chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and quite a lot of them, those chapters, he's warning us that listen, you gotta stop. If you don't, the king of Babylon, he will come. Then as you read on, it happens. So he's saying, listen, leave those pots, man. Come back to the Lord. Because you know, in the book of Jeremiah chapter 1, he's warning them that listen, I'm gonna send the Babylonians against them for what they're doing. Cool. So you mean so this is after Egypt, of course.
Calm.
So yeah, go ahead.
Like if I could. So where it says hewed out, so they've taken like a part. So our people have always had the Bible. So is it kind of like how, you know, someone will read the Bible and then they see, for example, Islam, and they see something that kind of matches up with Islam and the Bible, because obviously they Muhammad observed our traditions and is based on Israel's traditions, and then say, oh well, it's not this, it's not the Bible, it's not the fountain of the living water. They cut their path and they use whatever connection they've made to then go into Islam and serve another God. And that broken system.
Yeah.
Is that what it's getting?
Yeah, that's true. So it is a piece of it, but then what? Of course, it's wrong. But you mean why take a piece if you can go to the fountain of water? It's like it's like a lot of the religions that exist, they take a piece of the Bible.
Right.
They don't go to the fountain of water. They take a piece and go, that part's right, but you have to follow this. And that's what we did, man. We took a piece, you know what I mean? And of course, the love we had for the other nations, we pull it with that. You know what I mean? They followed Baal, we take a piece and go, yeah, but you gotta ascribe that to this. When you could have went to the fountain of water, man, and you could have got all of it. Why take a piece and bring it somewhere else into a jug that can't hold any water anyway? Meaning, with a part that you've took from the fountain, that lie can't even hold the water anyway, man.
Can't.
Look, Muhammad's the last prophet. Listen, the Bible don't say that, man. That water that you took in the mosque can't even hold the water anyway, because the Bible don't say that. So you can use that as an example too.
Can't. And it's like, if I could, one last thing. Can you use it in a similar way to, like, going back to the Kanye situation, how, you know, he's took something from the living book. He's took something from he's took that the Jews are black, but he's trying to hold that in Christianity. And he's trying to hold that in, you know, that white God and still loving that white oppressor.
Absolutely. You can use it like that too. You have something, Crappy? So
even if, like, everyone gets sidetracked because Kanye was the Jews are black, but Kanye got white women.
Right.
So, come on, man. You know what I mean? Like, to say one thing that's correct in the Bible, that don't mean we should all follow Kanye West. You know what I mean? So,
right.
Absolutely, man. So you understand this? Was there anything else, or?
Just on this last verse 14.
Oh, yeah.
So it says, "Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled?"
There you go. So okay, Now, of course, you know, I'm assuming you read from verse 1. Or matter of fact, you can read on, but it talks about all the times we've been captive under a nation for the sins that we did. It's saying, what is Israel a servant? Meaning, what, like, are we a people that just want to serve?
Right.
Why? Because we're always under another nation of people. We're always rebelling against the Lord. You got to be under this people, serve under that people, serve under this people. So with Jeremiah saying, are we servants? Like, what's wrong with us? We can serve our God and have our own, but because of our sins, we got to serve the Midianites, the Ammonites, the Moabites. You know what I mean? And of course, you can read about that in the book of Judges, where we had to serve many nations for the sins that we kept doing. So he's referencing that. Read on. Is he a homeborn slave again? We were slave by so many empires for the sins and always disobeying our God. So saying, like, what's wrong with us? Like, is this what we like? It's happening again and again till it should reach a point where we should be like, you know what? I'm serving the living God, man. I'm tired of being under these other nations, man. I'm tired of oppression. But we do it again and again and again, which is why Jeremiah said that.
Come on. So when it says, why is he spoiled? Is it saying, like, why do we continue to do this when we know the pattern of, you know, not serving the Most High? The Most High will punish us and put us in the hands of these heathens. Like, for example, in Deuteronomy 28 and verse 47 and 48, it's because we didn't hearken unto the Lord, we didn't serve him, that that's the reason why we serve our enemies. And I was kind of thinking, linking, why is he spoiled? Like, does that mean, like, why are our minds destroyed? Like, why do we continue to do it?
Not here. Okay, now the words boiled, it means robbed. So meaning, as a nation, why are we robbed? So let's give some examples. So the first example is, let's dig to this time here. As a nation, we was robbed. You mean, and many empires came in our homeland and what they took our wealth. Why are we a nation robbed? Because we keep sinning against the Lord. I'll give you another example. In the Bible, we are meant to rule the earth. We are robbed from ruling the earth. Why? Because we keep sinning against the Lord. You know what I mean? Why are we robbed as a nation of people where we gotta go in the East Indian shops? We gotta go to the Chinese, the oppressor. Why are we robbed as a people? Because we keep sinning against the Lord. The things that we are meant to have, we are robbed of it. And all of it comes down to us sinning and following other nations, which is the point that he's making.
Right.
And then if you read verse 15, it will explain it.
Verse 15. The young lions roared upon him and yelled, and they made his land waste.
And that's why we are robbed, man. These nations robbed us of all what we had, man. In our land, like in any empire, you got resources, you got riches, and we are robbed. Why? Because for the sins that we do, these young lions come, man, and they devour us, and our land is waste. Meaning what? They take all of our gold, all of our resources, all what makes us a empire. They take all of it. Read on.
Salak, yes, sir.
1 second. We're going to break down verse 15, right?
Okay.
Come on.
Read on.
Made his land waste. His cities are burned without inhabitant.
And there, and listen, you're robbed. If someone burns your land up without inhabitant, meaning everyone's gone, your enemy's burnt down, you know, a part of your land, you are boiled. You're robbed. And this happens, why? Because we keep sinning against the Lord. So you can use it by breaking down the next verse, or if you want to break it down in a modern way, you know what I mean, to relate it more, you can definitely use other examples too, as well. Sorry, you had something online?
Yeah, can't sir. So young lions are referred to as other nations, yeah?
That's right, yes. Remember, okay, in the Bible, we are referred to as sheep. Lions eat sheep, man. And they're devouring us, you know what I mean? So that's the analogy.
So, where does it say that, sir? We are sheep.
Okay, if you go to Ezekiel, you know what I mean? My people have been a lost sheep. Even Christ, I've not come for who? The lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Right, can't.
So,
What you said.
all throughout the Bible, we are a nation referred to as sheep, meaning what? We need to be guided.
Right.
We are easily led, and lions eat sheep.
That's
That's
right.
the point. Beast,
Okay.
lions, beast eat sheep, like in the book of Ezekiel, what you'll find as well. All right.
Can't see. The water.
I got you. Was there anything else you needed breaking down for camp, or you pretty much got your priest?
That's I got my precepts, sir. The water.
All right then. Again, you don't need to bring it out, but you can go to Isaiah 30:1.
Boy. Okay. Book of Isaiah, chapter 30, and verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me.
There you go. So now you want to break down this one, and listen. This is Kanye West right here.
Right.
If you found out that the real Jews are black, why don't you come to the people that were teaching it from 1969, man?
That's right.
That's right.
Right.
You don't take counsel of the Lord. It's common sense. If you find out something, don't you go to the people that have been saying it? It's like as if you need a mechanic, you go raw. You go to that mechanic all the way, man, so it can fix your car right. You don't go online and just see, okay, he fixed that. That's it. You go, nah, listen, man. I need to take this car to the mechanic, man.
Right.
And guess what? If Kanye West found out that the real Jews are black, go to the people that have been teaching it since 1969. Man. Do that, man.
Right.
Don't in your mind go, the Jews are black, but white lives matter. The Jews are black, but I don't believe this, man. He took counsel of himself,
Right.
and that's what you don't do, reader.
That cover with a covering, but not of my spirit.
So who can break this down? That a cover with a covering, but not of my spirit. Can anyone break that down? Yeah, good.
It's kind of like in Genesis how Adam and Eve, that what their sin was, they cover themselves with the customs of the other nations, or with like the wisdom of the other nations, when really the only wisdom they should know is the wisdom of the Lord.
Give that a hand. That is perfect. You can't have a bit of that. Meaning what? We cover ourselves with what? The British Empire.
Right.
We cover ourselves with America. But that's not the spirit of the Lord, man. We cover ourselves like, yes, man, I'm British. What's that guy, David Alami? He covers himself with Britain, man. There's a picture. He looks so smug, like I'm British, like I'm like, listen, man. You know what I mean? They don't deal with you, but you cover yourself. I'm a British man. I'm a citizen. You know what I mean? And he had the white man's look, doing like his a chin up in the air and his lip. I'm like, listen, you're not them, man. David Lammy has covered himself with the spirit of the British Empire, man. But that's not the spirit of the Lord, man. And you know what I mean? And you want to break that down for Kanye West too. If you want to use it, of course. Listen, you don't have to. You know what I mean? You don't have to. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna watch a video and you know what I mean, see if you use it. Listen, you do not have to. You know what I mean? By any means. But, you know what I mean? Go ahead.
What's the spirit of the Lord? I know, but I just want to hear what you. Well, you know
what I mean, with the spirit of the Lord, it's what the Lord would do. It's what the Lord wants, man. Meaning what? You keep the laws. You do what the Lord would do. That's the spirit of the Lord in an easy way to break it down.
Right. Come
on. 19:4. 1 second. We're gonna get a precept on the covering as well. The officers are gonna get it. I believe it's Revelations 19:4 or 5.
Revelations 19, verse 4.
In verse 5, let me quickly get there with you. Right, Revelations 19 and 4. No, that's not it. 8. No, verse 8. 19 and 8.
Quran, Revelations 19, verse 8. And to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen.
Okay,
clean,
so I'll break it down. So, what does the word array mean, if anyone knows?
dress.
Come on, Colin.
Is it not dress?
A clothed, yeah, dress, clothes, you know what I mean? Those are synonymous words. So now, of course, when you clothe yourself, what you are covering yourself. So now, let's see what this raiment is, or what this covering is. Reader.
Quran Khan. Clean and white.
Uh-huh.
For the fine linen is the righteousness of the saints.
There's a meaning. This white covering that John saw in a vision is the righteousness of the saints. Meaning what? It's how you live, man. It's about you keeping the laws, obeying the Lord, serving the Lord. So that's a covering right there, man. That is the covering of the Lord, the righteousness of the saints, meaning you do what the Lord wants, man.
Right. Khan.
And so you can use that. Let's get back to Isaiah 30 and 1 in the middle of 1.
And the cover with a covering, but not of my spirit,
Uh-huh.
that they may add sin to sin.
And because we don't follow the Lord, we add sin unto sin.
So the covering the gut here. So covering the culture. So the covering the culture. Not Lord's culture.
That's right. So we mean, like, example, with David Lammy, he has the culture of England. Kanye West has the culture of America. And by doing that, you add sin unto sin, man. Already you've left the Lord, and then you've got the culture of another nation, and you're being like them. That is sin unto sin. You are, I mean, basically making life worse, man. You're sinning already, then you're adding sin by following the culture of another people, not following the laws of God. That's sin unto sin. Reader.
Khan, that walk to go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth.
So now, of course, the word Egypt, you know, it just means oppression or bondage. And that's what we do as a people. We walk into oppression by not having the spirit of the Lord, by being misled. We walk into things that are what going to oppress us, man. What Kanye West does not understand is, by you saying white lives matter, that is going to oppress your people even more. Why? Because now white people are going to oppress black people more, and they're going to go, well, look, he's wearing white lives matter. You know what I mean? By his ignorance, he's going to oppress blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians more, man.
That's right.
Reader.
Khan, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh,
Uh-huh.
and to trust in the shadow of Egypt.
And that's what it comes down to. The reason why he's latching on to the oppressor so bad, because he trusts in the shadow of Egypt. Meaning what? He looks at Egypt and goes, I want to be a part of that, man. He looks at America and goes, you'll protect me if I make you happy. Now, I want you to understand something. Why does it say in the shadow of Egypt? Does anyone know why? The shadow of Egypt. Remember, it did not say Egypt. It said the shadow of Egypt.
A shadow means protection, right?
It can do, yeah.
Like if you're walking in someone's shadow, you let you follow behind them, like your back.
That's
Don't
true.
someone's shadow behind them, meaning they protect you.
That's true, but also something else. So okay, I'll go ahead.
Is it similar to what I was saying in the previous verse with the covering, like a shadow covers you? So they trust in the covering of Egypt.
That's true, but I'm gonna give it to you on another level. If you see a shadow of me, have you seen me? It's the shadow, meaning it's not me. So I'll break it down. He trusts in a shadow of Egypt, meaning what? You like what Egypt looks like,
Right.
but it's not the real thing, man. You like Egypt for what it stands for. This is America. Everyone's free. That's the shadow of it. But that's not Egypt, though. While you like America and it's free for everyone, that's not America. That's the shadow. That's what it looks like until you see the real thing. If you get the point, it's a shadow, meaning it's not the real thing. A shadow is a part of me, but it's not me. Till you see me. In America, with the shadow, it looks nice. Everyone's free in America. The land of opportunity. Racism don't exist. That's the shadow. But then you see America and you see the real thing, how it's racist, how white officers get away with murdering black people on camera. And it's obvious that he's wrong and we can't decide, you know what I mean? The video, the evidence is so hard. That is America. That's not the shadow anymore. And that's the problem. People like what it seems like, but no one likes the real thing, man. You know what I mean? So you can also break it down like that too. You know what I mean? If you want to again, you don't have to. You know what I mean? That's just breaking this down for you. You get what I'm saying?
So, like, if I could,
Go ahead.
is it like how, you know, Kanye trusted in the covering of America, where, you know, free speech is like the first First Amendment, something like that. The first, like, right.
It's what they say.
Freedom of speech. He said that Jews are black. Why he shut down his bank account? Ain't no freedom of speech, man. That is cancelled, man. So that's it.
That's right, man. Give that a hand, man. Listen, if you want to break it down, listen. You mean in America, in the shadow, it seems like you can say what you like till you see America, and you can't say what you like. In America, allegedly, you're allowed to say anything, man, and you can't stop it. You mean some of you watch it, some of you don't. If you watch MMA, Conor McGregor, he's openly racist. The Brazilian MMA fighters, it says some racist stuff, man. And with Dana White, who runs the UFC, which is a company that they do MMA, he goes, well, listen, this is a freedom of speech. I can't bar him on what he should say. You know what I mean? He lets Conor McGregor get away with some racist stuff against Brazilians, man. About, you know what I mean? You're poor, man. Go back to your favela town. And that's racist. You mean in Brazil, the favelas are poor. Go, listen, in your favela, you go back and you fight there. That's racist. And then what? Go, listen, it's America. It's free. I can't censor what he can say. Who remembers a Covington? He was a white MMA fighter. He's fighting a Hamite called a Kamaru Osman. And he said, listen, why don't you go back to Nigeria and light a campfire? He said it on TV. He said it, he goes, listen to me, why don't you light one of those campfires? And of course, that's racist. And when the camera was on Dana White, listen, he goes, I can't censor fighters on what they should say. Meaning, in America, freedom of speech is allowed. This is Hamite about making a campfire and said it on camera. Listen, in Nigeria, make that campfire then. And you know what I mean? And guess what? No one can't say nothing. Kanye West says the Jews are black. He gets censored. Why? Because Kanye West, he trusts in the shadow of America.
Right.
Guess what? It's America for them, but it's not America for you, man. That's what he found out that day, man. They even they didn't take his money, but they clipped his bank account in it.
And they shut down Chase bank account.
And imagine that no bank turns down money. You having a bank account with them helps them. And Kanye West is a millionaire. And guess what? For what he said, they even cut his bank account, man. Which shows you what he trusted in a shadow of America till he found out that was not America, man.
Right.
Other people get away with it. Other nations do, but you don't, man. Why? Because you're the Israelite. You're the chosen people of God who all nations hate. In MMA, white fighters can be as racist as they like. And listen, it's America. It's freedom of speech, man. You know what I mean? There's many examples. where racism's blatantly been said, and no one said nothing. It's like, well, listen, it's his right. We can't censor what they say. But when you say the Jews are black, you get censored, man. Why? Because that is America for black people. You know what I mean? So you can also use that. What's the other one in Second Maccabees about? No man could profess to be a Jew. You know what I mean? You can drop that one too in, I believe that's Second Maccabees 6, about you couldn't profess yourself to be a Jew. You can use that one too, man.
Second Maccabees 6 and 6.
I grab that Second Maccabees 6 and 6.
Second Maccabees 6, verse 6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath, Sabbath days, or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
There, so you know what I mean, if you want to again, it's not mandatory. You can use this one here. You know what I mean? You got a breakdown already. You know what I mean? It sounds good. You know what I mean? You can use this one as well. Now listen, Kanye West said he's a Jew and the Jews are black, and he got shut down. Take it back to Maccabees. Over 2,000 years ago, this happened in the past where you black man, you couldn't even profess to be a Jew, man.
That's right.
You know what I mean? You can use it and go, listen, it happened in the past where us, the real chosen people of God, the real Jews that is written up in the Bible, at one point in time, they couldn't even profess themselves to be a Jew, man. You break it down and show them, listen, what happened with Kanye West shows we are the real Israelites. Because just like back then, you couldn't profess yourself to be a Jew, and you can't do it now, man. You know what I mean? When we do camp, do you know why people hate us? You know what I mean? They say it's racism. It's not racism. It's because you got the nerve as a black man to say you're the chosen people of God, man. You know what I mean? You got some nerve to set up a podium and a banner and a microphone and say God loves your black side more than me, and that's what they hate. That aggravates him. Hang on, I'm Indian. I got a history. I got India. You're a slave from the West Indies, and you're saying God loves you more than me, and that's why you can't profess yourself to be a Jew, man. You're a white man saying, listen, you're a slave from the islands, man. You know what I mean? Your slave labor built my empire, and you got the nerve, the boldness to sit up on mic and a banner and say, God loves you more than me. And that's what it comes down to. People are angry because you profess to be a Jew, man. And let that be known for Kanye West. He got shut down. Why? Because you got the nerve to say you're a Jew and the Jews are black. Nah, man. And that's what angers people. That's what aggravates people. That you can never stake claim to who you are, man. Everyone likes you when you're Jamaican.
Right.
When you want to talk about Bob Marley and weed, you're loved, man. Everyone loves you. Yeah, Jamaica's nice. I've heard about it, man. It's a nice hot island. But listen, we are better than Jamaica, man.
That's right.
Right.
We are better than the islands. We are better than America and wherever we are. We are the chosen people of God. And when you take it there, that's when people get angry, man.
That's right.
Why? Because you mean you can be anything but the chosen people of God. And that really shows you are a chosen people of God. Because all over the earth, many people say that they're Jews. If you go to India right now, there's a tribe out there saying they're the Jews. No one cares. You know what I mean? If you go to Southampton, there's a set of Anglo-Saxons. They believe they are Israelites. No one bothers them. In Spain, Morocco, in North Africa, there's many people that live in camps, and they claim to be the lost tribes of Israel. No one argues with them. No one picks a fight with them. In Japan, there's like a mountain, and there's people that live on that mountain. They claim to be Israelites. No one bothers them to say, well, they say they're Jews. Who knows? But why is it when you as a black man say you're a Jew, everyone's angry? When many people that claim to be Israelites all over the earth, there's tribes here and there, and they claim to be the lost tribes of Israel. No one bothers them. It's just, well, there might be, they might not. But when you say you're an Israelite, people want to fight you, man.
Right.
People want to censor you. People want to ban you on YouTube. And why? That proves you are the real Jews. And no one wants the real Jews to know who they are, man. So with that, hand their class over to officer of 5,000. Also, my apologies. Officer of 50. Ariella. No, it's right here. Thwala. Gotta relieve myself real quick.
Security announcements. We are the ICPK side out. 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for any brother and sister. When any brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves at the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to the brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Ties, which is a commandment. Numbers 18 and 21, Malachi 3 and 8 to 10. Means 1/10 in the Hebrew, Ma'asharah, 10% of every penny of the increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to, upcoming holy convocations to be announced. Reminder to all coming up, check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a troop in the school, to wear all black boots, shirt, pants, headphones, and scarf. With that, we're going to give the teacher one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, I Madium. I Madium. Barak. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh. Sar, which means turn. We give the sisters one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, I Madium. I Madium Shabbat. I Madium. Barak. Yahweh Yad Yamatar with that class dismissed.
Oh gosh. Today, man. Felt like Jamaica, you know.